Hi, this is Celeste Barbier, and thank you so much for having me as part of your LGBTQ town hall meeting. This is my original song, Two Worlds, from my album with the same title, now available on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Two worlds, one and the same. Both of us from whence we came. One word of talk in disharmony, the other loud melody. Two words, one and the same. Two words, let's erase the boundaries. Two words, our dreams, see where they lead. Two words, one and the same. Now in the dark there lies a good, and in the light the devil once stood. The good, the bad, the balance of the two. Darkness and light reside in you. Two words, one and the same. Two words, let's erase the boundaries. Two words, apologies, just you and me. Two words, one and the same. One word of talk in disharmony, the other melody. Two words, one and the same. Ooh, oh. Two words, one and the same. Thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. How are you? It's Butterfly Love Hugs. Welcome to the North County LGBTQ Resource Center, very first virtual town hall. Yes, we are so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. Wanted to let you know, of course, about our ALS interpreters. They are definitely here to love and support and share the information with you regarding our town hall. Also, there is a comment section. I want to welcome everyone from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much for your love and support this evening. Please make sure to leave some comments. If you have questions, we can see them. We will get to them probably toward the end of the celebration. But we wanted you to know that your voice matters. So please leave your comments. And if you have questions, make sure that you type those in the chat as well in the comment box. And we will answer those probably, like I said, toward the end of our session today. Again, thank you so much for being here. We have a very special program for you tonight. And without further ado, I want to introduce our next presenter, our speaker, who is the president, actually, of our board of directors, Mr. Aaron Guiteron.
Great. Thanks, Butterfly. Thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction.
You're welcome, Aaron. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the board of directors of the North County LGBTQ Resource Center, I'd like to thank everyone in attendance tonight. That's everyone on Facebook, everyone on YouTube. My name is Aaron Guiteron, and I'm the board chair. The board right now is currently comprised of 7 individuals. They are, in no particular order, Maria Alshama, Joe White, Ken Granlin, Karina Contreras, Carlos Tabora, and Gregory Richardson. The past year has presented an almost unimaginable set of hurdles. The COVID-19 pandemic, the continuous and unrelenting assault on LGBTQIA+ rights by our own government, and the fight against systemic racism and the journey to justice embodied by the Black Lives Matter movement created a social, political, and cultural climate that necessitated and required action by and through the center. The board responded to these obstacles by quickly adapting our approach to governance. At the beginning of the pandemic, we held weekly meetings to ensure that the center, its staff, and Max had all the tools at their disposal to respond to emergencies in an efficient manner. Even as the center closed, we continued to meet to figure out ways for the programs that we offer to continue, whether it be through virtual platforms or in other creative ways. As the year progressed, we watched as a record number of anti-trans bills were introduced in state legislators. We held our breath as the Supreme Court issued its first ever decision on trans civil rights. We, as a center and as a board, worked to ensure that no matter what the outcome, the center would be here protecting and fighting for our trans folks. And when, on June 15th, 2020, the Supreme Court ruled that it is illegal to fire someone for being LGBTQ, we rejoiced. When activists and ordinary people alike began protesting against the unlawful use of force and violence by the police on the Black community and the murder of George Floyd, we, as a board, worked to make sure that the center was part of the ongoing dialogue with local law enforcement. All of us, as board members, participated in these protests to support the cause and to support our friends and family members who've been at the forefront of this fight, because we believe that Black Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, and Queer Lives Matter. As the months wore on, and it became clear that our legacy events like Pride and the annual gala were not going to take place in the same form as the years before, the board, along with Max, worked to figure out new ways to meet our fundraising goals. As a consequence of Max's hard work, we've been able to maintain our health program, our mental health program, provide COVID relief through rental assistance, bus passes, payments for utilities, food cards, and hotel vouchers. Max was also able to start a program called Foodies and Goodies that he'll get into later that distributed food to individuals and families in need. Also through Max's hard work, we were able to secure new funding sources through grants and expanded our network of donors. 2020 could have shut down the center. I can't stress that enough, but with Max's hard work, 2020 turned out to be one of the most financially secure in the center's history. None of this would have been possible without the support of our community, without the support of you who are watching us right now, and for the many, many donors who make the center's work possible. This includes our established relationship with organizations like the Leech Tag Foundation and our new relationship with the San Diego Foundation. Both groups provided the center with much needed COVID-19 relief funds. Now, as the center embarks on its 10-year anniversary, and as we go forward with new expectations for the upcoming year, we hope to continue to have your love and support, and we hope to find new and exciting ways to continue engaging with our community. Thank you for your attention. And now I believe I get to introduce a short video from Esther Sanchez, who is the mayor of Oceanside. Thank you.
Good evening, North San Diego County LGBTQ Resource Center staff, friends, families, and supporters. I am Mayor Esther Sanchez, proudly representing the City of Oceanside at tonight's annual Town Hall meeting. Thank you for continuing to provide much needed services, even through such tough times that we've had with COVID. You courageously stayed open, reinventing yourselves to ensure that someone was always there. I look forward to hearing about your successes and challenges and what we can all do to help. Thank you.
I have to remember to unmute myself to speak. And believe we have another video coming up. Is that right, Butterfly? We have a video from Tasha Berner Horvath, from representative for District 76.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tasha Berner Horvath, and I'm honored to serve as your state representative for the cities of Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, and Camp Pendleton. There's no doubt for all of us. The pandemic continues to bring unprecedented challenges to our communities and has unfortunately exacerbated the severity of many of the inequities that already existed. That's what's made the services offered by the North County LGBTQ Resource Center so important this past year. Thanks to the dedication of Max DePosti and his team, the center has been able to reinvent some of the ways it provides LGBTQ residents with the support they need and spaces to engage with others virtually. Everyone needs somewhere to turn to get through this tough time, and your efforts have enabled the Resource Center to continue filling that purpose for so many. As your assembly member, I stand in solidarity with the LGBTQI+ community in your ongoing fight for equality, and I want to thank you for all you do to make North County a better place for all of us to call home.
As an assembly member, Tasha Berner Horvath, for those beautiful words of inspiration, love, and support. And following in the theme of inspiration, love, and support, we would love to share with you a video from YouTube. It's called Celebrate Brave Voices This Pride. Thank you so much. May this video inspire you. Well, while we queue up, thank you so much for your patience. This is our very first virtual town hall, so we are working through some technical difficulties that we are experiencing right now. Aaron, would you tell us maybe just a little bit more about yourself and oh, here we go.
Oh.
We've been taught that silence would save us, but it won't.
I can't live my life straight because you're straight. I can't. I just gotta live my life for me and do it for me because this is my life.
I've done my hair down. I've worn the dresses. I've done things that aren't natural to me to please other people.
I was told to wipe off my makeup and be a boy. What they should have told me was to be myself.
If other people are uncomfortable, that is not your problem. That is their problem.
We want other queer people that it is okay to be yourself. We won't stand for hatred.
LGBTQ plus people are strong and resilient. We're not gonna go away.
It's so important that we keep fighting for the right to be who we are, the right to love whoever we want to love.
Like all civil rights movements that have gone before, we're not going to give up.
I'm still a proud gay man, okay?
We have to be out and proud and visible where we can for the people where they can't.
I live pride every single day.
Refuse to ever give up.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back. 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 What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Les amamos.
I love you. Stay strong.
Oh my God, that oh, that video is so inspiring and so uplifting and such a beautiful message during this time.
Yeah.
And we just send light and love. Maybe just take a moment just to send light and love to all the families just around the world who are experiencing maybe family members who are sick or have transitioned due to COVID, as well as just a very many deaths and transitions that our current world is experiencing. So much trauma right now. We just hold the space. Just take a moment just to hold the space and send light and love to our LGBTQ communities and just communities all around the world. So excited to be here and to share this moment with you.
I think that's a really powerful message, Butterfly. Sharing moments right now in a time where we feel just isolated from one another, it's difficult for us to shine. And I think, you know, these shared moments that we have, like exactly what you were saying, we need to be able to shine for those that can't shine right now. And we need to be together, and we need to be a community for those that don't have that opportunity right now. And I think that's a great statement, and that's a great feeling.
We are going to take a moment to invite a new interpreter in. Thank you so much for being here. All your love and support makes a difference as we can communicate with all of our communities out there. Thank you so much. So now, Aaron, I guess you and I have the pleasure of introducing
Yeah.
our next presenter. What would you like to say?
I mean, I can say a few nice things about Max. I think I can pull it from somewhere. I don't know. I mean, 2020, you know, as I said in my report, presented a whole slew of challenges for a nonprofit, for a new nonprofit, for a nonprofit whose ties to the community are so entrenched in reaching out to people and helping those in need directly. And I think Max has really stepped up and shown what a force the center can be for North County, San Diego, and that we're here to stay. You know, come pandemic, come, you know, the way that we engage with the government, whatever comes our way, the center is going to be here. It's going to be here for everybody. And that is really sort of the statement that Max makes every day, that the center survives. And I mean, I'm really honored to work with someone like Max, who takes his job both seriously and maybe not so seriously. And I think you need that balance. You need that balance. He's really helped me. I mean, I transitioned to this role as the chair during, you know, a really difficult time. And I've relied on not only the other board members, I've relied on Max's guidance as well. So with no further ado, I guess, right?
Yes.
Max Disposti.
Our fearless leader.
Everybody, I was very enjoying the show. I was very comfortable watching you two and our amazing interpreters over there doing amazing work. And then I remember, oh wow, I had to come on. Thank you so much, Butterfly, Aaron, everybody else. It's been a great honor it is every time we do the town hall. It's such an uplifting experience for all of us to hear the community. We were very concerned about, you know, the virtual distance, but we can connect with people otherwise in other means, and that's what we're here for. So thank you. And thanks, Leah, on the backstage, by the way, is making all the make it happen, because otherwise we wouldn't know what to do, how to do it. So thank you, Leah, as well. Yes.
Well, Max, I
How
would
to
love
do this.
Max, I would love just to share with you a few comments that are coming up in the post.
Oh.
It says,
Ouch.
Max, you are inspiration. And you are amazing as well, that you embody justice and joy, and that you are loved and are a superhero. So thank you so much, Max, for
Oh, wow.
being our fearless
Hey.
leader.
I don't, yeah. I'm always very uncomfortable around comments like that. But yeah, let's move on. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, I think we can have a conversation so that our audience can kind of get the feeling about what's going on. And this is not stage, folks. I mean, Butterfly and Aaron will go on and ask some questions and have a conversation so that you can perhaps through the conversation hear a little bit about the work we've done. So
Yeah. So I mean, so I can get it started, Max. I mean, I had the opportunity to speak first, so I touched a little bit on some of the 2020 highlights. I think I focused more on the obstacles, but I think the people watching would like to know some of the details about what were the highlights for 2020 and where the center really shined. If you can touch on those, please.
It's been a hard year, like you were saying, and but I was very very surprised at the end of the year, as we do an impact report, which is still on progress because it's based on our tax year, and that's the time when we pulled the number. So I know Leah has some slides that one of our partners, Vertical Printing, did for us just as today. So maybe Leah, if you want to put it up so I can share some numbers quickly. Thank you. Well, one of the things that we're really proud of is that the center operates on a very small budget. I believe this year we don't quote me on that again because we had to finish our taxes, but we're closing around over $400,000. But for every dollar they spent, 93% go to programming, which is something that we're really proud of because we really do our best to make sure that programs come first over certain growth sometimes. So we're trying to also address the growth of the organization. We need a bigger space and all of those great things. But this is something that usually measure the health of any nonprofit organization and also how they are growing in the community. And then Leah, I believe there is a few others. So I move quickly. I don't want to spend too much time. And so thanks to the support, like Aaron was saying at the beginning, the Leach-Tag Foundation and San Diego Foundation have been very supportive this year. We wouldn't have been so successful if it wasn't for their support in terms of providing relief funds for our LGBT community. So we were able to issue about $32,000 in rental assistance, bus passes, utilities. Those are all people that were borderline to becoming homeless because of the emergency of COVID. And we were able to intervene just to prevent that, in some cases to actually move people from homelessness into permanent housing, not just hotels. And that's another number that we continue to report. And then again, one more. Mental health is something that we're really proud of. You'll see our Dr. Nicole Kent coming online later on, but we provided almost 2,000 hours of free clinical hours of specialized LGBT care for our community. This is something you can't find anywhere in North San Diego County. We actually do training for other mental health providers in North San Diego County. And this is something that we really care so much that we would like to double or triple throughout the years. And the affordability aspect is something that we really care about keeping, because accessibility to mental health is not just stigma around mental health, but it's really lack of access to. So 95 people were in therapy under care, and 45 were referred out to network of trusted providers that we collaborate with. And then again, there is another one. Thanks, Leah. This is our new program that also our Jerry Nicholas, our front desk coordinator, has coordinated since day one. And just give you a glimpse of what we've done since June, because we started the program really half year. Almost 4,500 pounds of food were distributed, and 700 families individual are affected. Every Thursday, Friday, people are coming at the center. And again, these are families that perhaps have jobs or just lost their job, and they need the extra support so they can pay the utilities. They can, do other things that put gas in the car to go to work in order to be sustainable. So that's another thing that we're doing. And I believe there was another one, a couple others. These are the people that we served. 69% are Black, Indigenous, and people of color in our community, and 31% are Caucasian. These are not just, these are the numbers of the people we have been serving throughout this year. And it's a number that reflects our effort, affirming effort to make sure that we reach out in those communities that really need it the most, but also reflects the need in our community. Those communities are affected the most by the emergency of COVID as well. So it's both true as well. Then the next one, this has always been true since the day one that we opened. Our trans folks and non-binary folks are the one mostly served in our community. We're proud and honored for that. But so are the rest of our community, male and female, cisgender male and female in our community. That's just a really screenshot data about the people that we're serving through programming, food distribution, and everything else that we do at the center. And then I believe that was it. Yes. So I guess I gave you more than you were hoping for, Aaron. So the slides came out today again because they were just printed, but I thought that I could give just a shot about what's happening in numbers. More numbers will come. We'll have an impact report before the end of the February, but this is just an idea about where we're going, what's happening. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think so. I also I broke up my intro into 3 different sections, but how are your feelings about how the COVID pandemic has impacted the center and how it's continuing to impact the center?
We changed everything. I mean, since the day one, we were surprised and we didn't know how long this was going to affect us, right? So the programs were moved online. We had to, I remember the first 2 months I sent everybody home because I didn't want our staff and volunteers to run any risk. So I stay here and try to manage everything, the phone calls and the answers and the emails and the appointments, because I just didn't know what we were dealing with. And then slowly, as we implemented policies and procedure in place, I was able to ask our volunteers to come back, and so that our staff. And I will say within a month and a half, we were up and running, serving those that were in needs. And we saw right away that we couldn't afford to stay closed in any possible way. So it has affected in a very interesting way, because it was scary, but at the same time, we reinvented ourselves and we saw the energy coming from the community and the support. So it's been really tragic and beautiful at the same time. It's hard to explain. So, yeah.
Max, again, there was so much to learn and in many ways to pivot during this time of the pandemic. So can you share some of the things experiences that you learned and how as a center we were able to pivot and do things differently?
I think that one thing I really COVID has proven even more that nonprofit organization you can't just stay and watch what's happening and in the meantime you serve people, right? There are amazing nonprofit organizations that do great work in our community, but you also need to do advocacy. You have to stand up for the people that you're serving for. And what's happening is that the idea of just distributing goods is not good enough. It's about empowerment, and it's about making sure that people are feeling empowered to do better, and also to participate to the decision-making process of I know we're switching. That's wonderful. Okay. And so I think that's a big lesson. We want to make sure that our intervention is not just about providing services, but also advocating for our clients, so the people that are participating to the services of the center, by changing policies, advocating, and making sure that there are right decisions makers, elected officials that actually can do the right thing, they affect in a positive way the people that we're serving. Homeless folks and folks that are in need, extreme need to access to healthcare, for instance. Did I answer that, Butterfly?
Yes. Yes, you did. Definitely, Max. There was a lot of changes, of course, that happened after the incident with George Floyd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
how was
don't
that
be.
How was that process dealing with law enforcement during that time? And why is that so important for our LGBTQ community?
Wow, that's a very big, loaded questions, Butterfly, and thank you. I think that along the challenges of COVID today, we do experience something really beautiful. That was the coming together of a community that for too many years has been silenced by injustice and oppression, and let's say even police brutality. So I think actually in this year, George Floyd, our center, our board, I know with Aaron and the rest of the board, we have done a lot of conversations. Our need to be present wasn't just about solidarity. It was about serving once again the community and making sure that justice was done and served. And what can we do in an intentional way to make sure that also our space is not just diverse and welcoming, but it's intentional, different, affirming of the struggle of our Black and brown folks, and also in particular our queer community that among this community also is also sometimes even double marginalized. And so when it comes to police relations, as you many know in our community, we do a lot of training for our law enforcement. Next week I will, unless they change their mind at the last minute, I will train the Escondido Police Department, and we have trained the police in Oceanside. We have great relationships. We have LGBT liaisons, but at the same time, it's not just about individuals and bad or good apples. It has to do with an institutions that needs to be reassessed, especially when it comes to serving people that are in crisis, like homelessness and mental health, where policing shouldn't have anything to do with it. So we collaborate with the police because we think the collaboration is important, but also it's important be very honest and truthful about the challenges that our community is experiencing and the lack of trust that institutions have throughout time, not just during George Floyd, have our community experienced. So we are there offering our support, our collaborations. I had a great relationship in Oceanside Police Department, but at the same time, we have to be, we want accountability. We want to make sure that our community has the opportunity to have an oversight, to have something to say, and not just after a crime occurred, but also in preventing those crimes and the nature of those crimes that can come from hate and discriminatory practices, for instance, that we experienced for many years. So it's a very deep-rooted conversation, but we have it every day, and with our community and our law enforcement as well. So yeah, we are very, very involved in participating in the reforms and actions and requests. We work really close with the NWCP here in Oceanside. We're very proud of that relationship. Oceanside Justice Coalition, we're really fully part of a coalition of forces. They want to see things done not just better, but in a different way that have been done so far. So yes. That's that's the answer.
Aaron, I do have one more question though before.
Yeah.
So, Max, you know, we're just coming off celebrating MLK, and we are also approaching Black History Month. So I do have a question for you. If MLK was alive today, what do you think his dream would be for our communities?
Wow, I think that's a huge responsibility to answer that, because I can't even attempt to think that. But I think it is our obligation to think that way, in a way of justice, not just as an empty word, but a real that it's tangible, you know, from our judicial system, for instance, our education system. They still disproportionately affecting our kids of color. From any aspect of our community, I think when we talk about justice and equity, we have to think of all aspects, including development in our own cities. You know, where we build or don't build has a structural meaning and historical meaning. It comes from the way we used to build our cities, where marginalizations was occurring that way. So for our queer people, that conversation is very true, because we need senior housing, we need affordable housing, we need places where people can actually have access to. And because for many years, as you know, LGBT people have been legally, openly discriminated against it in housing access. So I would say that dream is a dream that also many people that collaborated with Dr. Martin Luther King, like Bayard Rustin, were bringing forward on a community that's more inclusive, on racial justice and social justice as a whole, not just one aspect of it. So yeah, that I would like to think that that's one of the things that people might see, and not just as something of the past, but the present. We need a lot of work, that's for sure. Yeah.
And it takes all of us, for sure.
I know we are. I know we're taking a lot of time. I don't want to, you know, people might think this is just about.
So, I mean, because I think Butterfly did an amazing, I thought that question was amazing to sort of set the stage for what the future holds, right? What's next in line for the center after the 10 years of foundation building, with everybody that's been involved in the center since its inception? Where do you see the future of the center?
I think that's the community will tell. I mean, the idea is to really make sure that we become more representative of other areas in North San Diego County that are still not having access to even this, you know, the opportunity to have a space to come to, and where unfortunately even our own institutions are lacking competency to serve through school districts and through community clinics, our LGBT community. So I would like to see a center that provides more services throughout North San Diego County, in collaborations with those communities, not replacing those communities, but in collaboration with those communities, where we can become bigger and stronger with them in you know, by keeping our indigenous experiences, so to speak, right? Because we have so many people in our North County that come from different backgrounds and experiences, that we want to treasure that and make sure that those voices also are channeled through this experience. So yeah, more North County and more visibility and more services, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's great.
And more elected officials speak for queer folks as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Yes.
Okay. I think our next presenter is Ken. And I believe Ken is going to introduce an amazing video. Ken is one of our board members, and we love Ken. I love Ken. I want to give a special shout out to Ken, as well as his wife. Just a side note, you know, during COVID, I broke my foot, and not only did Max and Maria and Lisa, but Ken and his wife, they came over and they provided lots of love and support for me. His wife cooked for me, and they came over and, brought dinner, and she cooked breakfast, and they came and sat with me sometime. And, Ken even helped me do some things around the home. So the center has been such a support for me as a queer Black woman. And I'm so honored to be here to serve and introduce Ken to you. So let's bring him on. Thank you so much. I think you're muted, love.
I'm sad that it was a broken foot that made that happen for us. But before I get started, there's a short piece of video that I'd like to share. So when Leah has that ready, we can take a look at that.
We want it now. We want equal rights. What do we want it now? What do we want? Equal rights. What do we want it now? Yeah. Equal rights. What do we want it now? What do we want? Equal rights. What do we want it now? What do we want? Equal rights. What do we want it now? What do we want? Equal rights. What do we want it now?
That was great. That short video was filmed in 2008. That was the same year that the nonprofit that became the North County LGBTQ Resource Center was officially formed. And maybe you recognized a few faces in that crowd. If we were doing this in person like we usually do, you definitely see some of those faces in the room around you. But we're here virtually and we're making the best of it together. 3 years after that video was recorded, on December 8th, 2011, the doors to the first physical center in North County were opened. And this year, we're excited to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of our little center, our little space in North County where we can all truly be ourselves, where we're supported, where we're encouraged, where we are family, and where we are loved. As my good friend Butterfly Love Hugs mentioned, I'm Ken Granlund, and I have the honor to serve on the board of directors as secretary, but I also get to lead a group of volunteers on projects that help preserve our stories of the past, tell our stories of today, and keep our communities informed about everything we're doing now and where we hope to go tomorrow. So throughout this year, our 10th anniversary of our safe space, our second home, we plan to find unique ways to celebrate virtually. So be watching for more information on our website and in the newsletter that you get. We'll be sharing memories of our 10 years together. And we're going to invite you to share what the center has meant to you or what it still means to you every day. What special moments happened within the walls that always make you smile or maybe cry? Maybe you have a picture that you want to share with us, or maybe a program for an event that you saved. We'd love to see it and share it on our social media sites, and eventually when we can get back into the building at the center too. We're starting to collect oral history from folks in our community. Maybe you know somebody whose connection to the center or the LGBTQ+ community in North County should be recorded and saved and shared for the future. Together, all of these stories are a shared history of our time growing together, standing together, marching together, as you saw, and sometimes crying together. These are all your stories. They are all of our stories. So let's celebrate together all year long by remembering who we are and how we got here. And if we're lucky and the stars align, and there's enough glitter to go around, maybe by the end of the year, we can all come back together, really together, to begin our next 10 years with hugs and laughter and the continued determination for a better tomorrow. Thank you for being here tonight and for all the support you give the center and will continue to do. Butterfly, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Oh, man. That was a blessing. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. And thank you for your service and your leadership. Our board and our work within the center is definitely appreciate it. And your love and support means the world. So thank you for what you do, how you support Max, how you support me as a Black queer woman in this community, and how you support our North County, all of our North County with your leadership. Thank you so much. Is Aaron, are we coming back, Aaron? Yes, I think it's Max, Aaron, and I. Are you joining us, Max? Are we going to do, I believe we're having a Q&A.
Q&A.
Nice. Thank you so much. Good to be back.
In the hot seat now.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I believe, I don't know if there were others joining us, Leah, from the backstage. Definitely Jerry, our front desk coordinator that has been done amazing work in the past 7 months. She's the face of our success in so many ways, folks. As you know, our Linda Johnson, for those of you that loved our Linda for so many years, she just took a break, a personal break until the next few months. She's still with us, of course, but Jerry stepped into the position of coordinating the experience at the front desk, and boy, it's been a big ride, right, Jerry?
I don't know what you're talking about, Max.
Yes.
Just a few
She's still
challenges here and there.
Jerry, tell us a little bit about what you do. In the meantime, that we are gathering some questions from the people. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the center.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Jerry Nicholas. I'm the front desk coordinator. Since COVID, it's been all of this is just very new to me. Our phones are ringing off the hooks. We have a huge group of people that walk in looking for resources. Since we started our Foodies and Goodies program, fortunately, we've been able to collaborate with Feeding San Diego and a handful of retailers in North County and in Del Mar. So thank you to Trader Joe's, Jimbo's in Carlsbad, Costco, who else, Max? Sprouts and Vista, and Smart and Final, who've been providing food that we rescue every single week. So we thank them for that.
And flowers.
Oh, lots of flowers. We can't go without the flowers. Thank you, Eric from Trader Joe's in Carmel Valley.
That's wonderful. I was asking Leah to let in our Dr. Nicole Kent, which is also our supervisor for our mental health programs at the center. Hello, Nicole.
Say it's a Zoom rookie here. As if I'm not on Zoom all the time, but I forgot to unmute. So there you go. It's great
Nicole,
to see all of
a lot
you.
of people, same here. A lot of people know you because you've been, gosh, in
Because
our
I'm old?
community.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think no. I would. And for many years, supporting our trans youth, really, since I would say that the benefit of the space that you created even prior to the center being open, several years prior, where you were serving trans youth before our schools, our elected officials, our laws, our institutions were even there for them. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how things have changed, and also what you're doing now at the center?
So it was about 21 years ago. No, 20 years ago, let's say. I think it was more than 20 years ago, but 1999 when I started with a couple of other people, the Our Circle youth group, and we met at Vista Community Clinic. And then when that went away, I took the group and we met at Denny's. And then we got a church that we were able to meet at for a while. And then when the center opened, we finally had a wonderful permanent home. And we had many kids in that group because none of the schools at that time had very strong, or many of them didn't have any kind of GSA. And many of the kids didn't feel comfortable being out at school at that time. And so having somewhere in the community where they could go, where they could maintain their anonymity in school or in their families if they needed to be, I think is invaluable. And what I noticed as a therapist, I have always known something from my education that I can see at play so much at the center, which is, our marginalization of our community, and the biases and the prejudice and the homophobia and the transphobia and those minority stresses that we live with. It's a trauma. It's a form of trauma, for some more than others, depending on your situation. And the strongest mitigating factor for trauma is community, is relationship, is being loved and accepted. And if we don't have families that love and accept us, we have to have access to people that we can connect with and be ourselves. And what I love watching when I have the kids together is, they really don't even need me there. Like, I facilitate so that they have an adult in the room, but the powerful healing component is each other. They get to see themselves represented in other kids. They get to hear their stories, and they don't have to censor themselves. They get to speak freely and authentically. And that kind of freedom to be yourself is powerfully healing. And I love that the center has done such a great job in this time. Max, such hats off to you during COVID, that everything transitioned so smoothly, seemingly smoothly. I'm sure there was a lot of hustle and bustle behind the screen, behind the scene, that I didn't get to see, but that we're having Zoom sessions and Zoom meetings. And now I've moved into the role of the clinical supervisor. So now I'm supervising the interns who are providing the mental health services for the community. And it's wonderful to watch and to support. And thank you so much, Max, for that. I think the mental health services can expand greatly, and we'll be ready.
Right. Thank you, Nicole. Wow. I don't think, just hearing all of this, I think you touched so many aspects that could, you could take a town hall meeting for each one of them, because from the minority stress to the isolation of our youth that are experiencing, not just because of COVID, but for being queer. And there is so much to really talk about it. I think a lot of people have been asking me right now, in particular for our youth, what is your intake about? I mean, we know that for our queer youth, staying home, it's never been a good thing, unfortunately. It's a real tragedy that we still have a big percentage of our LGBT youth that are not supported at home. And sometimes the trauma comes from families. So what would you suggest to those youth that are watching right now, and they are in those circumstances where perhaps they can't connect to Zoom? They can, what kind of coping, approaches until we can come together, would you suggest for them to address? I mean, how to go by? What would you say?
I certainly don't have a comprehensive list of things written out, but on top of my head, a couple things that are important is connect where you can, take advantage of opportunities to join. And, that can be challenging for people who might have some worries about how they're going to be perceived. And so when we have our LGBTQIA spots to join, that can be through many organizations across the country that have the text and online support available, like the Trevor Project. And I know that our youth program is doing a great job with social media, since the kids are very good at that stuff. So they tend to at least have a lot of access online if they have the benefit of having Wi-Fi or having phones. And that's a powerful thing. I think our youth rely on the internet more than our straight cis youth do, for good, because it provides both access to things that might not be nearby, but also protection from for the kids who maybe aren't comfortable with their voices, or aren't comfortable with their appearance, or aren't comfortable being out to their families. So there is the added benefit of some anonymity. I believe very strongly in really being a conscious consumer of media, right? And choosing to watch things that are uplifting, choosing to, moderating the amount of the negative that we watch, because that, we all know how overwhelming, when we watch George Floyd and when we watch so many of the things that have been so devastating, that we can all kind of get caught up in watching over and over and over. And when we're isolated, that kind of spin cycle isn't great for our brain. So if you can get outside and go for a walk, if you can, reach out to a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, if you can do a hobby that you enjoy, art and singing, if you can participate in learning in whatever way you have access to that. And a huge thing that keeps me from losing my mind during COVID is to give of myself to help someone else. Because inevitably, and I know not everybody is in that position, and so obviously that's, if you have the time, the resources, and the ability to, there is nothing that can fill you more than helping someone else, because it puts things in perspective, and it's really something that helps me feel connected to our community on so many levels. And vote, by the way, just saying. That might not be mental health support, but
right. You brought a good point, and in saying that as well. By the way, the center is open, so we don't do support groups here because obviously we will never allow to be people in the same room, but we are open. So we have had you coming forward when they felt lonely, isolated, or calling the phone. Jerry is an incredible resource as well. There is a little thing that I want to touch about. There is a lot of conversation about human trafficking. And as you know, the center is at the center of human trafficking prevention. And finally, the conversation started to take notice that a lot of our queer youth have been targeted a lot by trafficking. And in many cases, because of this isolation pre-COVID as well, where the fear of having conversation around their own gender and sexuality brought them to isolate themselves and now talk to a stranger in confidence, right? And traffickers know that. So the only thing I would say here that while at the same time, internet has been a great tool to connect, we have been here at the center. Sometimes our own kids come to us, or younger adults, you don't have to be a kid, and tell us, hey, I'm going to have this appointment with this person. Can I have it here? Or can I tell you where I'm going? Or is we're here without any judgment to support our youth, to make sure that they're safe and they're understanding, like you were saying, the boundaries of these relationships, and making sure that they are, as they're exploring themselves, they are also safe, because they have a place here where they can come and get that support. So it's very true. What the isolation can cause a lot of that, need to search in any possible ways, just for some company, right? And someone that can understand. So yeah.
And I think that's a really good point. And I love the feel of the center is so beautiful because of that unconditional positive regard and the lack of judgment, where we are able to reduce risk because people feel that they can trust telling us what's really going on. And you're right, of course, we all know about many of the dangers in the internet, and our kids are particularly at risk for several reasons. And one of them is, all kids who post things about how depressed they are, about how nobody understands them, about how isolated they are. Those are flags for perpetrators, right?
Right.
Because they are able to take advantage of that vulnerability. We also deal with many kids, particularly those who haven't had family support, who deal with shame and some, issues with self-esteem, and haven't learned their own value, which is, of course, what we're trying to do every day, is to show them how beautiful and amazing they are. But until they're there, that also makes them vulnerable to perpetration and to trafficking. So I think we have to create safe places that have some sense of being monitored or facilitated, so that it's not a place where we bring in for help and they end up being harmed. And that's I know that you've taken it very seriously.
Yeah. We learn a lot in the process. Butterfly, do you see any questions out there, or would you like also adding anything? But I want to make sure, because I don't see if there are any questions from the audience.
I'm not seeing any questions at this time. If someone does have a question, please let us know, and we will answer your question to the best of our ability. Is there anything that we may want to say about Pride? Since our
Yes, also, I was looking for I don't know if Lisa Nava joined us. I think.
No, I believe she's having some technical difficulties and can't get on.
Well, Butterfly, you're the vice chair, so I think who's the person to talk about Pride than yourself?
Well, we are still excited about our Pride celebration. Yes, we are planning a virtual Pride. I believe it's going to be Saturday, June 12th. I believe that's our date. We are still currently in the planning process. So if you would like to be involved, please, let us know. Contact the center if you're interested in volunteering. I believe there is a form to fill out for volunteers if you're interested. We do have some fun activities planned, entertainment and art. Our theme is we're looking at passing the torch as I believe that's our theme, and we're just excited. We're just excited to bring our celebration to you, and knowing that when we are able to get together in person again, I believe our celebration of 2022, let's keep our fingers crossed, is going to be amazing. You do not want to miss that celebration. So we will definitely have more information for you coming within the newsletter. Please make sure that you follow us on our Instagram page, our Pride by the Beach page. And again, if you have any questions and want to get involved, please don't hesitate to contact the center.
Butterfly, am I allowed to say a little bit more, or I'm breaking the rules if I share a little bit more about this passing the torch around our country?
Yes, go. Yes, Max.
No, because I was really excited to hear that. So thank you, because one of the ideas is that besides the virtual experience, we are going to have actually an in-person moving the torch around our county. We haven't decided the spaces, the area, but the idea is to have one person at a time moving the torch, and each place it will be a conversation around social justice related points that we would like to make. And so it's going to be really fun and entertaining, because we are going to need a lot of people moving that torch around,
right?
And that's definitely something that yes. I know we have also a lot of elected officials. Yes, go ahead.
One question did come through. Oh, now we can see the comments there. Chuck Lorry wanted to know, are you going to any update on the progress of the recent hate crime in Oceanside?
I see it. Thank you, Chuck Lorry. As you all know, we just issued a press release 3 days ago. This is a crime that happened in Oceanside in November 24th. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but based on the investigation that's going on, it was a hate crime, even though it wasn't claimed as a hate crime, but that's what we are requesting the DA to claim it as a hate crime. For those of you, I know that are in our community, this is unfortunately not a new experience, but this was almost deadly hate crime. We are pushing towards the DA to make sure that the survival, which lives here in Oceanside, can actually be assisted. And unfortunately, the bureaucracy of it made so that we had to step in and intervene and make sure that we could support practically for the survival in the past 3 months, and paying rent and providing food and support. So our intervention, like we were saying before, we are there to assist our folks, but at the same time, we're advocating to make sure that that we bring this person and making sure that FBI, the DA, they collaborate to get the criminal back into the country because he fled the country, and back to justice, because we want to make sure that the survivor of this crime lives without the fear of having to encounter this individual in the streets one of these days. So we're providing our support to him. He might be watching now. The names was all over the press, but there is no need to go over the name again. It's not necessary. But I just say that we are honored to be in a position to do that. But we want to make sure that things like that don't happen anymore. And we want to be vigilant to make sure that the communities are aware about the possibility of hate crimes or any kind of crimes that can happen in our community. So thank you, Chuck, for asking that question. Yeah, it's something dear to our hearts because it just happened, and we are struggling with it every day. Yeah.
Max, it looks like Terry Haskins had a question about Unicorn Homes. Maybe just like a brief update on how Unicorn Homes is going.
So thank you, but actually Leah Probono, which is in the background of our assistants today, she's our case manager, but because she's orchestrating all of this, I'll speak for her in a second, but I would say that Unicorn Homes, of course, under COVID has been a challenge because we couldn't introduce the kids into the family because of the health issue. So, but we find another way to support our youth by going to them instead and connecting them with the county resources that were available. So we've been fortunate to be able not to pretty much to continue to support the program. Unicorn Homes as well has given a lot of money and a lot of support and placed a lot of people in the right place. Many of those $32,000 that you saw in our report comes from Unicorn Homes as well in serving the youth. So it's been, we want to see more of that. And so we had to see exactly what's going to look like in 2021. Yes. Yeah. And I see this question is coming up. Can you guys see it? Am I frozen?
Yeah. Yes, it's someone has asked to mention Brenda Watson.
Dina. Yeah. We were going to do a press release after this. I want to make sure that all the community was informed. But Brenda Watson is an historic volunteer of the center that we just lost to COVID less than a few days ago. She's been an incredible community organizer for many, many years. She was out and proud as a trans woman many years ago when nobody was. And as a senior now, at the time when she retired, she has been working for our LGBT Center and for many LGBT organizations throughout San Diego for many, many years, through the Imperial Court of San Diego, by helping everybody, even when she couldn't, and bringing blankets to the homeless people in the park at night in Escondido. I mean, she was doing amazing things on her own in many cases because she didn't want to wait for other people to join. So we lost an incredible warrior. So I appreciate Zina bringing this up because it's been a very difficult time for us here to just think about that she's no longer with us. And unfortunately, COVID has ended her life. We lost some people this year to COVID as well. And it's something that, as you all know, we all have been affected directly and indirectly. So yes, Brenda Watson, she was our hero and she still is. And we are going to honor her next week just with a press release and so forth. Yes. Thank you, Zina. And I know we're really getting close to the time, right? Unless there are other questions.
Max, it looks like there was a question about a email that that our council member Schumacher received. Whether the individual who sent that was being investigated, I'm not sure about the details, but.
Yeah, I'm not aware either, so I don't want to speak to it. I'm aware of because I follow the case on social media, but I haven't spoke with our council member, Corey Schumacher, so I don't even want to attempt to address that. But thanks for asking. Maybe that's definitely something I would like to follow up directly with Corey Schumacher. I know she was watching. So yeah, there's been a lot of incident and hate crimes in our region. Not many people. I'd say an unfortunate incident that occurred the other day when I posted the press release is people questioning the validity. How do you know it's a hate crime? And that's, I always tell people, folks, believe the victim first, hear them, because just questioning the validity of what they've experienced is traumatizing once again. We're not jumping ahead of the judicial system. We are not trying to predetermine the accusations. We're just saying this is what the victim is saying. And we need to stick by that, and we need to honor that. And then we are going to the courts and do what we need to be doing in due process. But the reality is that in this case, like the attempted murder, it's an attempted murder. There are no questions about it. There are videos and so forth. Any attempt of intimidation, it needs to be addressed for what it is. If there is an intimidation to silence LGBT people or because of their race or who they are, is something that we need to be prompt to be responding. Because our trans folks in our county are the one most targeted. So there is no questions about it. And the data shows really clearly that we need to be very careful and very prompt to support them. So yeah. Elizabeth Perez has a questions. I know we're about to close, so I don't know, Butterfly, if you want to pick the question. So,
while Butterfly's taking a look at that, I know that this is something that Max always avoids doing and really doesn't like. So I'm going to jump in and remind everybody that the only way that we provide all of these amazing services to our community is through the generous donations of our community. So if you are able, how, Max, might they very easily and painlessly be able to donate to the center?
I think we can just put a link right now. I'm sure one of my board members watching, they can just copy and paste the link on the chat. And then, but usually you can go to ncresourcecenter.org. And there is the donate button, and you can go ahead and donate. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nicole. Any final words, Aaron or Jerry?
No, nothing for me. I just want to say a round of applause for Butterfly for doing an awesome job hosting the event. You've been an amazing MC.
Thank you, Butterfly.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so excited. This is my second year hosting our town hall, and especially for me to be such a new member of the community, it really helps me learn as a queer Black woman how to be safe. As a single queer Black woman as well. In my community, and what I can do, to help our community be safe for not only just queer people, but just for all of us. For our young people. And I love working with teens and young adults, and it is so critical right now that they know that they are loved, know that you are loved, and appreciated, and that your life matters. And if we can do anything to continue to love on you and support us, to support you, please let us know. Don't hesitate to reach out to the center. We are here. And we want to do everything we can to help you live and create the life that you were born to live, and to make such a positive impact on our community and generations moving forward. So thank you so much, everyone, for your love and support. Thank you all for sharing your heart with us today and giving us your time. And we just thank you and send you much love and appreciation for everything that you do to help us be successful and support our community. Thank you so much. Thank you, Butterfly.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be safe, everybody.